As I promised, I have questions to more answers that came out of the comment section in my channel. I'm going to answer them for you now. Hey! Roger! Oh, Rocket Chick Roger! Hello there! So I have 10 questions and answers here that I want to try to answer for you. All these questions came out of my comment section on my channel here. A lot of people, leave comments and ask questions, but not all of you read everybody's comments. I don't read all the comments that come in other YouTuber channels. We don't take the time to do that. But a lot of people ask really good questions, so I thought I'd take this opportunity just to answer them online so that everybody can benefit from it. So question number one, and this is the last of the series of questions that I started last week. I'm going to continue to do this. As questions come in, I'll compile a list, do 7, 8, 9, 10 questions, and then I'll do a video on them, okay? So that's the way I'm going to do it from now on. So this is the last of this series. Don, number one question here. Does obtaining the cedula mean you are a resident? No, it does not. Getting your visa makes you a resident. The cedula is your state ID. This is my cedula right here. I'm not going to show it real close because numbers on here, but this is my state ID. When I go to a store to make a purchase, even if it's sometimes in a restaurant, the cashier will ask me for my cedula. Sometimes they even ask you for your passport, especially if you're a gringo. But the cedula, the number on here is registered with SRI, and at the end of the year, because of these transactions being recorded, I get some of that sales tax back at the end of the year because of my age. The cedula is just a state ID, okay? It's not, it's not the same as your visa. You get your visa first, and then you get your cedula. Okay, so it's your ID. Number two, how do you become a resident? Well, the short answer is by applying for a permanent resident visa. You can do that after your temporary visa expires, which you will start in 21 months. And what I mean by that, when you come to here to move here, when you come here and to retire, you come in on a tourist visa. That's on your passport. It's a stamp on your passport. And then you, hopefully before you come here, you will have already started the process of applying for your temporary visa, which is good for 2 years. And then in 21 months, you start the application for your permanent visa, which will be your permanent resident visa. So it's simple as that. You use a facilitator or an immigration lawyer to go through the whole process for you. I've already done some videos on this. Just go through the channel and you'll see them there. Number three, do you have an immigration lawyer you recommend? Yes, Gringo Visas. They're located in Cuenca. They are, I use them to get my visa. I didn't have to use them. I used them because they were the first people that I heard about before I really knew then what I know now. There are other ways to get your visa. You can go through facilitators. You don't necessarily have to use an immigration lawyer. Maybe if you want that warm and fuzzy feeling about the way things are getting done, you should go through a lawyer. But there are a lot of facilitators, independent facilitators that are retired attorneys that can do this for you just as well too. So, and I'm pretty sure there's a difference in cost. I'm not going to go into that here. That's something that you'd have to discuss with them. Okay. Number four. This is a good one. This is kind of a multi-part question too. It's Don, has the earthquake situation there changed your mind about wanting to stay in Ecuador long term? Yes and no. Yes, from the standpoint that, well, let me put it this way. The ring of fire is right there. I'm pointing out my balcony here out over the Pacific. We are in an earthquake zone, big time. If you look on any earthquake, I don't have a phone, I'd show you any earthquake application on your phone, and you can actually draw up the map that shows the different regions for the earthquakes. You will see the fault line runs right up through the coast here. It goes right on up by Panama, right on up Gulf of California, on up the coastline. You'll see it. This is major earthquake territory. It gives me a lot to think about. I really don't know. I've been in 2 earthquakes since I've been here. They both shook me up. The second one, the last one 2 weeks ago, shook me to the core. It woke me up at 5:54 a.m., scared the crap out of me. The whole building was rocking back and forth, and I felt horrendously afraid, especially because I'm on the top floor of this building, and there's a giant propane tank on the roof right over my bedroom. And I thought, all I could think was, well, if the building collapsed, I'm going to be on top of everybody else, but swimming pool's over there and propane tanks up here. If the fall doesn't kill me, either fire or water will. So what should I worry about? I don't know. It's definitely has me thinking. The locals tell me, oh, you get used to it. Because we have lots of little ones all the time. I feel them all the time. But these 2 big ones were enough to really make me think a lot. I lived in California for 10 years and never felt earthquakes like I feel here. So it's definitely something to think about. I have to just wait and see. I just hope that if the really big one comes, I'm not in this apartment. Hope I'm out on a boat somewhere. Who knows? The other part of the question, and since your building survived the 2016 earthquake with what I assume was little to no damage, do you feel pretty safe living in that building? I have to say I do feel pretty safe because it's a big building. It's only 9 floors tall, but it's really wide. It's a big building. It takes up, a third of a block. It's got a 2-story basement underneath, and I've been told that it's earthquake proof. It survived a quake. The apartment that I had downstairs below this one had a big crack on the wall right here, sitting in the same location. Big crack all the way from the ceiling to the floor. And I thought, somebody told me, oh, that's probably from the earthquake, but I don't really know. I don't have any way to prove that. But I feel safe in this building. I don't think I'd feel safe in the one across the street, the Torre Mirador. I've been told that it sustained some pretty decent damage. But Santorini, which is over there, I would be okay there. In reality, the only reason why I would be concerned about being in those buildings is because they are right on the edge of a bluff that's over the beach. The beach is like right down below them. And all I can see is those buildings sliding off onto the beach in a big earthquake. The other part to the question, to the point where, when does one happen? Don't worry that this is going to be it. And I wrote this, to the point where when one does happen, you don't worry that this one is going to be it. My answer, I wrote, every time I felt one coming, that was my first thought. I think what the question is, I'm sorry I screwed it up, but it's like, if every time one hits, do I think this is going to be the big one? Well, the little tiny ones, no, doesn't even cross my mind. But this last one that shook me for 10, 15 seconds definitely made me think this is going to be a big one. And it was enough to really, get my attention. Number 6. Question number 5. The longest I've been there at one time is a month. I've not had much opportunity to meet the Nasties. I'm curious, in general, are these expats rude to locals, other expats, or everyone? Can you give an example? Talking about rude expats. These people are there's a bunch of curmudgeons here. There's a bunch of unhappy expats here, and you can tell it. You can see it in their demeanor, their body language, the way they look at you, the way they talk. Some of them don't even want to talk. They don't even want to talk to me. And who can not want to talk to me? I'm such an approachable guy. Everybody wants to talk to me. But I've seen some of these people that they wouldn't give me a time of day. And it's not just to other expats, but it's to the locals as well. And a good example is the rude expat in the grocery store that leaves his basket in the line, and then when somebody said something to him about it, he basically told him to shove it. And that's unnecessary. That it doesn't have to be that way. Here, you're in retirement, man. This is a great place to retire. Beautiful country, nice people. Why come here with this attitude? If you're not happy here, get the hell out, folks. Go back to the States, wherever you came from. Don't take your unhappiness out on other expats or the locals here. They are here. I've been told, I haven't seen it yet because I haven't been there yet, but I've been told that Cuenca is the rude expat capital of the world. I don't understand. I don't get why these people have to be this way, but they are here. I'm not a doctor. I can't analyze these people and tell you what's wrong with them, but I get a feeling that they're just unhappy people. One guy wrote, "I just can't hack it," and he said, and the last thing he said in his sentence was, "I'm miserable all the time." Those people are here. There are a lot of people that come here and realize they made a big mistake, and they shouldn't have come here. So that's you're going to run into them. I guarantee you're going to run into them. Another time I see them. There's a tradition here, or part of the culture here, that the senior citizens get priority service over a lot of stuff. We get first in line. I could be standing in line at the bank waiting to go inside, and a security guard will see me standing in line and come and get me and take me to the front of the line ahead of everybody else. Most of the time I say, no, it's okay. I'm good. I'm staying right here. But I see seniors come in and just bully their way to the front of the line. And they're not even nice about it. It's bully. They just bully their way to the front of the line because they feel like they're entitled to it. Because they're given that privilege by the locals. And then they take advantage of it. That's another example of a rude expat. Shame on you. I have another name for you, but I won't say it here. Number 6, does an earthquake wreck your apartment? Well, I should have answered that earlier. It could. It's bad enough, I guess it could. You could completely destroy it. A lot of this place was destroyed in the 2016 earthquake. A lot of it. You can still see the evidence from it today, just driving through Turkey. I think that's where the epicenter was. I don't know for sure, but that place is devastated. It still is today. Here's number 7. Any chance they know English, or is your Spanish getting pretty good now so you can order? This is in reference to Dulce Cremoso, the restaurant. I did a video about them a few months ago and talked about the wait staff being able to speak English. Well, the wait staff in these restaurants all speak Spanish. We're in a Spanish country, Spanish-speaking country. Ecuadorian country, Spanish-speaking country. They, a lot of the wait staff tried to speak, and some of them can speak English, but I always try to speak Spanish to them, or I point at something on the menu and grunt, or try to read it in Spanish. Don't expect these people to have you place your order in Spanish or in English. Don't expect them to understand it. They're Spanish speaking. And so to answer your question, yeah, I mean, some do know English, but most of them don't. But you get around it. It's not a problem. I wrote, there are some waiters that know enough to help, but they also have English menus also. Like not all restaurants do, but Dulce Cremoso, they have an English menu. Number 8. So do you hear a lot of noise because your condo appears to be in a highly populated area in close proximity to the beach, Malecon, mall, etc.? Yes, that's true. I am in a fairly noisy neighborhood. I mean, the beach is right there. I heard fireworks last night. There's There's hotels. There's a hotel right behind me here, a small hotel. They play live music on the weekends. There's a hotel, small hotel, directly across the street from me here. They have a jazz saxophone player that comes in Saturday night and plays for a couple hours, and I hear that, because they're all outdoors. And yeah, and then there's apartment buildings around, and people have parties on their balconies and put their loudspeakers out there. Yeah, I'd say yes. To answer your question, yes, it's because of the area that I'm in. But I do have to say that here where I live here I call it Playa de Murcielago. It's by the mall. It's here where Santorini is, Torre Marina, Torre Mirador, La Novia restaurant. It's a fairly quiet neighborhood, really. I mean, I sleep really good here. It quietens down after 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Sometimes you might hear something later on, but it's short-lived and it goes by fast and it's piece of cake. There are other areas of Mantra that are worse. Somebody said here, I think in this same question, do you think the noise level would be less in a condo right on the ocean over in the Ibiza building or Poseidon building area? Well, in the first place, let's don't even compare Ibiza to Poseidon. Ibiza is a very tall building right here on the beach that stands out over here, kind of in a little enclosed community. It might be a little bit quieter, than some of the other areas, especially if you're on the ocean side. But there's a noisy neighborhood right behind it. There's a noisy neighborhood right behind me here. And every day you hear something. You hear roosters, you hear dogs barking, you hear parties. You hear the traffic on the Flavio Reyes, the party traffic. I call it party traffic because people drive their cars up the street with the hatch open on the back, and you got 10 great big giant subwoofer speakers back there blasting out music at 100 plus decibels. But Ibiza, I don't think Ibiza, it'd be probably a little quieter. Number 9, I'm losing my voice. Wife and I will be moving down next year. Can you confirm $400 income for pensioners visa will cover both of us? Or is it $400 per person? No, it's not even $400 per person. It's $800 per person. It used to be $400, but now it's $800. But I've also been told if you go through an attorney, you can get that waived and get it reduced to $400 per person. Maybe it depends on the type of income you have, whether it's Social Security or who knows what, The dependent is $100 per person. This is a good question for an immigration lawyer or a visa facilitator. Let them answer that question. It's better to get that from them. They'll be more accurate on it than me. So I can only tell you what I've done. And the last question, every 2 years you have to renew the visa, correct? No, that's not true. You only have to renew it the first 2 years you've been here. If you want to stay for a second year, your second visa you get is your permanent resident visa. Why apply for a second temporary? I don't even think they'll let you do that. But you never know. There's like 16 different types of visas to get here. But, no, you don't have to renew every 2 years. So that's it, folks. That's all I have for right now. I'm losing my voice here all of a sudden because I talk too damn much. But anyway, thanks for watching. I want to mention something. Some people always encourage me to don't get worried about negative comments and dislikes from people. I found out last night that it doesn't make any difference if you get a thumbs up or a thumbs down. The YouTube algorithm sees them all as the same, and one doesn't get treated any differently than the other one. The same thing with comments, whether they're positive or negative. It doesn't make any difference. If you leave a comment, good or bad, it's good for me. If you leave a like, good or bad, it's good for me. So keep them coming, folks. All right? Thanks. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Ciao.